now my mind is blown. No surprise, guess I should have known. Oh, now my mind is blown. No surprise, guess I should have known. You got control of me, break my barricades. Walls are crumbling, grounds they shake. You came to save, but it's way too late. Every single time you stay, I cave.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Neurodivergent News. I am your host, Deanna Brakefield, owner of Lionheart Kingdom Marketing. I would like to take just a moment, as I always do, to redefine what neurodivergent means. And that is the whole purpose of our show, is we are really redefining what does it mean to be just a little bit different. And that is the definition of neurodivergent. You are just a little bit different. Don't let anybody tell you it's more complicated than that, because it's not. And we're really not about labels on this show. So moving right along today, as I said, I am Deanna Brakefield. I am your host. We have had a wonderful time recording our episodes. I am a mother of 7. 6 of my beautiful babies are neurodivergent, along with myself and my husband, who we used to label as having Asperger's. Today, I have on the show with me a wonderful person. Some of you may be familiar with her. She is the host of Business and Beyond here on K-Fred. She is also a business owner, a life coach, and a mother herself. Welcome, Tess Booker.
Deanna, I'm so excited to be here, and thank you for this topic. I am just really excited to be here and really curious about how this podcast is going to go, and just really honored to be a guest. So thank you, Deanna.
Well, no, the honor is actually mine. I've had, unlike the audience, I've had the privilege of getting to know you a little bit behind the scenes over the last year. And despite the struggles, despite everything that has been thrown at this woman, you just keep ticking. You just keep going. You never let it bog you down. How do you do that?
Well, I have to utilize my own life coaching skills, basically. Like, I have lived and breathed and eaten my words and my actions, and sometimes I have to eat them and it's a pie in the face, or it's learning, and it's growing, and it's accepting, and it's being able to maneuver through the ups and the downs, the goods and the bad, and really just be resilient, right?
So, Tess, let's start with your business coaching just a little bit, because it's the part of your business that I think really represents you the absolute most, and the part that you downplay the most. What is it like to approach business from your perspective when someone is a client?
Well, I think when a person comes into my life, I've had this just certainty that I've always had. You're going to be my best friend. You just don't know it yet. And so for me, it's very easy to step into relationship, listening, being curious, and open to my clients. So I think that clients and my client and I can adjust and become whatever that relationship needs to be. There's a lot of freedom.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of freedom. Okay. So I know that part of what you do as a business coach is you help people find clarity about their why and their who. How do you do that? I mean, so many of us in the neurodivergent community, that why is as much a mystery to everyone around us as it is to us.
Well, I will start out with an assessment. The assessment that I have really underlines some of the saboteurs that we have on a neurological level, and it's unconscious activity that people don't know is happening. So once they get an awareness of that, then I can unravel stories, experiences, beliefs, thoughts, emotions, And we can start to untangle some of those things so that when they look at it from an explorative curiosity, an open space where there's no judgment, then I can help them to take those negative things, those negative experiences, the negative beliefs, the negative things that make them feel unworthy, not enough, always behind, all the things that entrepreneurs that we dive in and we don't know that we're just sabotaging ourselves. So when I can explore and assess those things, then I love when people just get an aha moment, and that brings momentum to the next space, to the next space. And it takes so much pressure off of not being enough, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is that something that you find is a common problem with the people that you work with, is they feel they're not enough?
That's the deepest rooted issue. Every time it spirals down, no matter what they're afraid of, what they're up against, what they think they're up against, the obstacles they face, the deepest rooted issue, probably in about, I would say 95% of the people that I have gone through the assessments, comes down to that rooted issue of not being enough.
So wait a minute. I'm about to make a bit of an absurd statement here. What you're telling me is that neurotypical business owners and neurodivergent business owners, we have the same problems?
I guess so. I don't know. I have not worked with, this labeling my clients of whether they're neurodivergent. I think it's a human issue.
I like that. Because some issues, it's not about labels. It's just we're human and we have shared experiences regardless of how we see our world.
Yeah. And how we see our world is what matters. How we see our world is how we create. How we see our world is how we show up. How we see our world is it's everything.
So Tess, speaking of how we see our world, tell us your story. How did you come to be in the place that you're in today?
Well, I am so excited about this topic because I think the validation that I've, experienced with you when I first came to you, I didn't know that I had divergent tendencies, right? And I'm your ideal client. So it's really funny how it played out this way. But years of me just not understanding why I did things different, and always feeling like nobody understood me, feeling like I didn't belong for so many years. I had a sense of not belonging because of trauma, right? You have these traumas. I was born straight into fear as a shaken baby. So you can imagine my disconnect of trusting human beings, trusting anything I did. I also was, this is just my story, I'm just sharing. I also was extremely pigeon-toed. My mother tells me stories about how I would not take my first step until I was about almost 3 years old because I was so deathly afraid of falling. So, because pigeon-toed, your feet are turned in, you go to put your foot up and you try to walk, you're going to fall. I would just crawl. It was easier for me to figure out or climb, right? Walking wasn't a thing because I was so afraid to take my steps. And so that core trauma just carried out through my life, where I was the one that was small and fearful and not belonging and made fun of as a kid, and all those things that were not me. They were not me at all. I was a very happy child. I was very childlike. I was very innocent in my being, but I learned to cope different because I didn't feel that I was loved, accepted. I didn't feel like I belonged anywhere. in school. I would cry the first day of school. My mom will tell me all these stories. I didn't want to leave my house. I did it, but the way that I coped was I went inward, very, very inward. I paid attention. I became hyper focused on colors. I got focused on sounds. I got focused on the things that I was looking at, textures, and people would misinterpret that as I wasn't paying attention. But the truth was I was paying attention to every detail, but it was my way to cope. And what has that done for me? I'm highly functional. Business. I have 3 children. I've been married 30 years to the same man, all the ups and downs of marriage. And I live in San Diego and I have this life that I love. It's very simple, but it wasn't always, right? It wasn't always simple, but I learned how to tap in and tune in to me. And so that is 100% of my coaching, to help people tap in and tune into them. I guess maybe, I don't know. And when you tune in and tap into you, it's the essence of you, and there's no separation between you and where you live and where you belong and the things that are happening to you. Does that make sense?
So if I'm hearing you correctly, it's a lot of looking inward, overcoming the fear of what you're going to find when you do that, and finding a place that's comfortable where you can really start to grow from.
That's the environment I hope to bring my clients through, where there's exploration, curiosity, empathy, sympathy, joy, and just taking the pressure off of the body and the mind so that they can see something different, which then brings clarity.
So how did you come from a place of almost completely introverted by fear to the open and expressive woman that I know today?
That's interesting, right? Because growing up, I was the friendly one. Everyone was my best friend. I was like a Tigger. I was called Tigger at school. Like, that's what people called me, Tigger, right? That was my name. I mean, that's how people saw me. I was bubbly. I wanted friendships. I sought them out. But it came with so much misunderstanding and pain that I never let anybody really see. And oftentimes, I probably didn't even know how to work through my emotions that I actually felt them. I was so out of touch with my own feelings that I would cry about anything. But my tears represented joy. It represented sorrow. It represented being mad. I had to figure out how to untangle my emotions from my thoughts, from my beliefs, and into tangible taking steps to get the outcomes that I wanted.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, it sounds like emotional regulation was a huge issue for you.
Absolutely, because I disconnected how my parents felt about me, how anybody felt about me, because I knew who I was, but other people didn't know who I was, and I didn't understand how to deal. I was very highly sensitive, emotional. I cried at everything. And so when I couldn't identify and label my tears, people would look at me, "Why are you crying?" I don't know. I don't know why I'm crying. Just, I'm happy. I'm sad. I could never articulate my emotions. When I started being able to tap in, tune in, and really pay attention to my thoughts, my beliefs, my emotions, it put so much order to my body and has helped me heal. I have come through cancer of my throat. I've learned that it was such a huge part of my healing. So what my coaching is very holistic, because I understand the power of thoughts and beliefs and emotions and the energy in motion because of them.
So do you feel it's something that it's a battle that you've won proverbially, or is it something you still struggle with today?
Oh my gosh. I know that every day, we're like, thoughts and emotions are coming all the time. They're always going to come. I'm never going to stop the world from spinning, but I have indeed probably 98% of my life is not spent in that turmoil anymore.
That's amazing. So I'm gonna switch the table on you just a little bit, and I'm gonna throw a little bit of an oddball question at you. I throw this one at everybody. So, in your personal opinion, what is the strangest hobby that you have developed as an adult?
The strangest hobby. I don't know that it's strange. Hmm. I guess I don't know that it's strange, but I can read a book and just go away and read a book, and that's my favorite thing to do. And I'm a triathlete, so any kind of
Okay.
exercising, the swimming, biking, running, those are my happy places. I do a lot of swimming. I'm probably the oldest swimmer in the pool nowadays, but I always used to say I would be swimming till I'm 80, and I probably still will because I love swimming.
Tess, I did not know this about you.
That's funny. Yep. I'm a triathlete, Deanna. I haven't been training since the world went down a few years ago with COVID, but that's my joy. That's totally my joy of swimming, biking, running.
I think you need to set a goal for yourself to enter yourself in another triath. What do they call them? Triathlons
Yep, triathlons.
before next summer. I think that would be an awesome goal for you. I want to hear about it.
Yeah, I've been thinking I'm back in the pool. I'm loving it. But like I said, I'm going to this pool with a bunch of college students and I'm the old fart.
Ah, you're not the old fart. You're the experienced one showing them how to get it done.
Oh my gosh. But when I used to be that 20-year-old that would swim, and when the 50-year-olds and the 60-year-olds come, I'd be like, I'm going to be like that when I grow up. So I guess that's what I'm doing.
So, Tess, tell me a little bit about San Diego Spotlights because I know that's your current passion right now, aside from your radio show. And San Diego Spotlights is it's kind of grown out of your coaching business.
Yeah, I'm super thrilled because I've spent so much of my business trying to address all these issues, right? You're trying to address the emotional issues, the relationship issues, the health issues, the business issues, the return on investment. That's been a roller coaster, but it is now that I have found a niche that I love. I live in San Diego. I just moved to San Diego and I needed a way to um, just network and get to know the businesses, the business owners, because that's who I love as business owners. And so San Diego Spotlights is a directory where I get to just complimentary um, bring light to businesses, right? I get to the two things that businesses struggle with are visibility and cash flow. So San Diego Spotlights gives me the ability to advertise, to get businesses visible, to tell their stories. And then, we're interviewing. I love to interview like what we're doing here. And then I help them find money through that whole site. So it's become part of my business hub, like of resources.
Okay. I hear this a lot with whether people classify themselves as neurodivergent or not. More often than not, I find that we have a need to communicate our message. And this is a bit of a human message too. Although us neuros, we struggle with it a little bit more, communicating clearly with those around us and getting them to really see our perspective. A lot of us feel downtrodden, we feel ignored, we feel rejected, and so we're less likely to want to communicate with people. But when we turn to being business owners, it seems like the through line in a lot of our businesses is helping people communicate, whether that's through coaching and clarity, through marketing. It just seems like all of us have this, call it what it is, a through line to where we just want people to be understood the way we want to be understood.
Isn't that funny? I mean, I think that that's part of being human too, of we it's recognizing who you are, because everything you do is a reflection of who you are, but you don't know that we're all connected and we just mirror each other, and what you put out is what you get back. And so isn't it interesting that your gift or your weaknesses are the very things that make us better? So just to wrap back around that question of, I think it's interesting that the one thing I felt misunderstood and not heard and not being able to explain well of what I felt was going on inside of me, and making that expression be heard and understood, is the very thing that I'm helping people do. Like, that's funny, right? The thing that I struggled with, the thing that that kept me so stuck, is the very thing that I'm walking out so that I can help people not do that.
But it really helps us focus our passion, I think, is because, we get stuck in that non-communicative area and we can't really express to you how we're feeling or what we need to do next. And it takes somebody to take a step back and say, whoa, wait a minute, take a deep breath. You've got this. You're more than you think you are. Because we've got a saying around here on Neurodivergent News that your differences are not your weaknesses, they're your superpowers.
Well, and that's exactly why when I came to you, Deanna, I experienced that. I experienced you being able to put, like you said to me, you just need a container to hold what you are trying to express, and I can be that container. And I think that that's exactly what I needed. I needed a container that could help me drive the vehicle of all these resources I have that had no rhyme or reason or order, or felt like they were out of order, but it's all been in order. And for somebody to hear you and to be understood when you feel misunderstood, right, is huge.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you did for me. But as you unraveled my story, and you're hosting my story right now, and you're helping me establish that container, I'm getting clarity. Like, wow, I really have the only way I talk in riddles, and I know that I talk in riddles, and the only way that I can explain my life is I mix things up in the right order.
I love that.
I've had to have affirmations and things that I say that project what I want rather than what I don't want. I used to call myself messy, and everybody would say, Tess is a mess, right? Well, I'm not a mess. I mix things up in the right order.
No, you are not a mess, ma'am. I would say that you are creative chaos.
Creative chaos, that's another one, right? But when I grew up with the belief that everything I put my hands to, nobody understood me. I was all over the place. I couldn't communicate well. I couldn't even tell you how I felt because my emotions were not connected to my body. I mean, it had left me with a feeling of being messy.
Mm-hmm.
And no one understanding and no one getting me, right? I don't have that anymore. And I just wanted to thank you personally on this show, because in this 6 months or whatever that we've been together, you have helped me not only put words, now this neurodivergent, I'm very high functioning. I don't want that label. Nobody wants that label. But now I have an understanding of how I operate. And that question of what's normal is everyone's trying to figure that out. Like, this is a very human thing without the labels.
Mm-hmm.
But people that are in trauma or something that isn't disconnecting or learning disabilities keeps you feeling like something's wrong with you. And that was me. they couldn't understand me, so that means something's wrong with me.
Oh, that's a whole nother show, Miss Tess. We could talk for an hour straight on shame.
Right? And so that's, I would say shame was a rooted issue. I, as an empath, I want to say, I have a lot of empathy. And what happened is I internalized and it became me. So someone who was living in shame, I put that shame on me to the extent that I was being ashamed for things I didn't even do because I would take it on as if it was mine. So that's another thing in my coaching is learning how to be in the world and not of the world by saying that you're connected to everything and you have an individuality in it. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
So when that gets when I got to the point where I could just stand on my own in my own empathy, extend empathy without taking it on, that's beautiful. It makes you full of yourself without having to feel like you have to keep anything. I can give freely and I can receive freely for the first time ever.
That is an absolutely amazing story. Thank you so much for sharing all of that with us. We are almost out of time today, though. So, this is the point where I ask you, what is it that you would like to promote? Where do you want people's attention drawn today?
Well, if you know any small business owners, CEOs, I just would like the personal connection to small business owners and right now I'm really in a space in that some of my teams, my tax division teams, with taxes coming up, it's really important that I can help find some businesses money that they qualify for. And so I'm looking for manufacturers, I'm looking for restaurant owners, I'm looking for realtors, CPAs, people that can connect me to small businesses that I can find money for. And basically, it's an amazing tool that if I don't find the money, then there's nothing owed. It's awesome. It's beautiful. So that's the big projects that I'm working on right now, just to get people through tax seasons. But basically, small business owners, I love them.
Excellent. So if you're looking to get in touch with Tess, you can find her at kfred.com. She is one of our wonderful hosts. She is the host of the show Business and Beyond. And you can also find her at Tess at San Diego Spotlights.com. All of her information will be available in the blog post associated to this episode of our wonderful radio show. Tess, do you have any last thoughts for us today?
I think I'm just gonna say thank you. It's just gratitude. So thank you, Deanna.
Gratitude of gratitude. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everyone have a wonderful and productive day. We will see you all here again soon. Thank you for joining us for Neurodivergent News.